Good morning. Welcome to Inside Talk Show. Inside Talk Show. It is an inside job. Life is an inside job. I'm Carla Elizondo. Happy Wednesday. We're continuing the reading of James Allen's book, Out from the Heart. We're on chapter 5, titled First Steps in the Higher Life. Seeing that the path of virtue is the path of knowledge, and that before the all-embracing principles of truth can be comprehended, perfection in the more lowly steps must be required. How then shall a disciple of truth begin? How should we begin on any path if we want that higher life, if we want to truly be on the path of knowledge, of knowing, of faith? How do we start? How shall one who aspires to the rightening of his mind and the purification of his heart, that heart which is the fountain and repository of all the issues of life, learn the lessons of virtue? We're asking you, James Allen, how? How do we do that? How does he thus build himself up in the strength of knowledge, destroying ignorance and the ills of life? What are the first lessons, the first steps? How are they learned? How are they practiced? How are they mastered and understood? How do we develop ourselves? How do we learn to master our minds, our emotions, live that higher life? The first lesson consists in overcoming those wrong mental conditions which are most easily eradicated and which are the common barriers to spiritual progress, as well as in practicing the simple domestic and social virtues. The reader will be better aided if I group and classify the first 10 steps in 3 lessons as follows. Vices of the body to be overcome and eradicated. First lesson, discipline of the body. First step, idleness, laziness, or indolence. Second step, self-indulgence or gluttony. Second lesson, discipline of speech. Third step, slander. Fourth step, gossip and idle conversation. Fifth step, abusive and unkind speech. Sixth step, frivolity or irreverent speech. Seventh step, critical, captious or fault-finding speech. Third lesson, discipline of tendencies. Eighth step, unselfish performance of duty. Ninth step, unswerving rectitude or moral integrity. 10th step, unlimited forgiveness. Ooh. The 2 vices of the body. So he broke these down into 3 lessons. The first lesson is discipline of the body, and there's 2 steps. So these are what he's talking about. So we're talking about disciplines of the body. We'll read those. The 2 vices of the body and the 5 of the tongue are also called, because they are manifested in the body and tongue. Also, by so definitely classifying them, the mind of the reader will be better helped. But it must be clearly understood that these vices arise primarily in the mind and are wrong conditions of the heart worked out in the body and in the tongue. The existence of such chaotic conditions is an indication that the mind is altogether unenlightened as to the real meaning and purpose of life, and their eradication is the beginning of virtuous, steadfast, and enlightened life. When you see someone, or when you are experiencing yourself these 2 vices that James Allen are describing, wrong conditions, chaos, talking negatively, slander about yourself or others. When there's chaos coming out, conditions, the results in your life are no bueno, or someone else's. It's caused by the condition of the mind. It's a reflection of the chaos in the mind. Chaos, chaos. Chaos, chaos. It starts here though. Cause, effect. But when we're looking at the effect, we can look for the cause. It's in the mind, in our what we're emotionally involved with, what thoughts we are thinking, how we're speaking to ourselves is reflected in how we treat others. I love that just mindset, that point of view of other people's behavior is a reflection of themselves, their thoughts about themselves, how they feel about themselves. So if someone's being a real big jerk, it's so challenging to not take it personal because they're in your face and they're blaming you or directing it right towards you. Our job is to understand, not absorb it, just observe it. Take a step back and see all of that, what's going on with them is them. It has nothing to do with me, although they are telling me it has to do with me. No. We must be strong and understand that truth. Okay, so how shall these vices be overcome and eradicated? By first and at once checking and controlling their outward manifestations and by suppressing the wrong act. So notice what's working in your life. This will stimulate the mind to watchfulness and reflection until, by repeated practice, it will come to perceive and understand the dark, wrong, and erroneous conditions of mind out of which such acts spring. It will then abandon them entirely. So first, recognizing. Find an area of your life that you don't really appreciate or the results aren't matching. It's causing you pain. You're resisting. You're like, this is not who I am. This is not who I want to be. This is not the life I want to create. These are not the relationships I want. Notice it. Then take a look in the mirror and ask, how am I acting? How am I thinking? How am I speaking? How am I engaging in this particular condition that has been manifested in my life? The situation in my life, it's manifested. It's there. You're in it. Take a look in the mirror. Be honest with yourself. What part do I play? And it's not to take away that it's your fault, because it's none of your business what part anybody else is playing. What part are you playing? Keep your side of the street clean. This is you work on yourself, looking at yourself, refining yourself, eradicating these flaws, these vices. Okay. It will be seen that the first step in the discipline of the mind is the overcoming of indolence or laziness. This is the easiest step, and until it is perfectly accomplished, the other steps cannot be taken. The clinging, am I saying that word right? Indolence? Let's look it up. I love my dictionary app. You know, I've said some words very wrong before. But these words are not common.
Indolence.
Indolence. The quality or state of being indolent. Okay, what's that? Ooh, slothful. You want to avoid any exertion. Slothful. Okay. The condition of laziness must be overcome by rousing up the body. Okay, I missed some stuff. It says, the first step in discipline is to overcome laziness. This is the easiest step, and until it is perfectly accomplished, the other steps cannot be taken. The clinging to laziness constitutes a complete barrier to the path of truth. Laziness consists in giving the body more ease and sleep than it requires, in procrastinating and in shrinking and neglecting those things which should receive immediate attention. Do you find yourself procrastinating? Do you find yourself putting off today's tasks for tomorrow? Do you feel like you can do more, but you're just tired? You just want to sleep? Is that a habit? I've definitely experienced that. This condition of laziness must be overcome by rousing up the body at an early hour, giving it just the amount of sleep it requires for complete recuperation, and by doing promptly and vigorously every task, every duty, no matter how small, as it comes along. I'll end it there. This is about discipline. This is about, if you have discipline nowhere else in your life, just get a disciplined routine in the morning and then wing it for the rest of the day. Do whatever you want, but find a morning routine. How about this? For the rest of this month, however many days are left, a week and a half, a week, I want you to wake up at the same time every morning, the earliest you can, with getting sleep. So if you know you're going to wake up early, make sure you get to bed earlier. However much sleep you need, try it out. I usually try to get 8. It ends up to be somewhere around 6.5, sometimes 6, but it works. I can function. I can't really drop below 6. I mean, 6.5 or 7 is the sweet spot, I think, for me. Whatever works for you. But I want you to wake up at the same time for the rest of this month. See how much, if you're not already. And if you are, can you wake up earlier? Can you go to bed earlier? Because to be honest, business hours are closed. What are you doing late at night? I mean, anything after 9 p.m., what are you doing besides, let's be honest, watching TV, scrolling, drinking? I mean, what are you doing after 9 p.m.? Depending on your work schedule. If you don't work and you're at home, just a question. Just kind of reflect. What are you doing? Is it a productive activity or non-productive activity? Are you writing in those hours? Are you being productive? Are you being creative? Or are you engaging in non-productive activities? Being on your phone, playing games, mindless stuff. And that's all fine and good. There's time for that. But when you're going towards something, when you're working towards a goal, there isn't time for that. So whatever stage you're at in your life, just be honest with yourself. If you're working towards a goal and you really want to make changes, be very strict with yourself, because no one else will be. No one else will be. We must be disciplined. Give yourself a command and follow it. As always, if you have any questions, please message me. If you want to be on my email list, I am building it and I am very excited. So please message me your email and I will add you to that list. So have a wonderful Wednesday. I will see y'all tomorrow.